Here's a quote I want to share with you guys. Quote, "Why are we asked to pay vendors fees of hundreds of dollars plus when the events really need us?" Unquote. Let's explore this often expressed food truck owner opinion and carry it out to its logical conclusion. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
Go further with the American Express Business Gold Card. Earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels when you book through AmexTravel.com. Whether your destination is a business conference or a client meeting, your purchases will help you earn more points for future trips. Experience more on your travels with Amex Business Gold. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
This is a subject that new owners whine about, and they whine often about it. Here's one post that I found, and I'm going to continue with that quote. "Without us, there is no food at their event. Meanwhile, without their event, we can set up elsewhere and make money." Unquote. Okay, that's pretty strong words. Now the question becomes, why aren't you setting up anyway? And that way you can just ignore the event circuit in the first place. You just said you could make money, so why aren't you doing it? You just said events aren't a big deal because you can set up elsewhere and make money. The thing about events is they draw people. If the event is big enough, it changes traffic patterns in the rest of the area where you set up. Then suddenly that place you set up, where it has a normal pool of guests, that dries up because guess what? They went to the event that you said, nah, I don't need to go to. So the rest of that post continues with, okay, so we may make 5 times as much, but we also spend 5 times as much time prepping and 5 times as much money purchasing groceries and supplies. Unquote. Well, not really. If you're truly making 5 times your normal daily sales by attending an event, a couple of things are going to change mathematically. Vendors normally increase their prices when they attend an event that has a captive audience because they want to recoup any kind of event fees. And if the event is charging a commission, they want to recoup that as well. So prices go up, which means you'll make more money on the same amount of guests. So the workload isn't changed. The amount of food isn't changed. So let's do this mathematically. Let's say your normal day is $1,000. You attend an event where you expect 5 times the guest count, but the event has an entry fee and a commission fee. So being a wise vendor, you would raise your prices first to cover the entry fee and then second to cover the commission. On an event that has a 10% commission, you would need to raise your prices 11% to make up for the fee. And then, of course, you want to raise them a little bit more to make up for that entry fee as well. So let's just keep it at the straight 11%. Make it real simple. Doing the math on a normal $1,000 day, let's say that represents 50 guests or a $20 check average, meaning 5 times the guest count would be serving 250 people. Because 50 times 5, 250 people. But the sales would not be the expected $5,000 because remember, we're charging more. It would be $5,550, which means the associated prep work would not be 5 times, nor would the food cost be a true 5 times. In actuality, the food cost would be about 2% lower, which is what? More profit to you. And guess what else happens? The fixed cost for your business, they remain the same. That's why they're called fixed cost. So that means you would have 5 times more than normal profit by going to an event if this random statement holds true. So the moral of this story is go out and do events. Now let's finish reading that quote. Now the author admits that he's new, and here's the quote. "I'm fairly new to this, so I'm wondering how we got here. I love the event atmosphere, but I don't like raising prices for events to offset the fees." Okay, so you have an inexperienced person that's trying to convince people that we should all band together and never ever do events because they need us. We don't need them. So if you're not willing to raise your prices to compensate for increased expense, I hate to tell you this, but you are going to go out of business or you just have a hobby. Either way, that's a bad thing for the business owner because we all know prices are going up. We've seen it now for the better part of 18 months. Prices have to raise in relationship to expenses. That's called being a good and prudent business owner. Whining about how much an event cost you doesn't make you a good business owner. It just makes you a complainer that doesn't understand the intricacies of operating a mobile food business. So this admitted newbie continues. I'm thinking, pay you? I'd like to have you pay me to be there. But we can work out a mutual deal to benefit each other. Let's call it even. For me to set up and help make your event a success so people don't have to leave to go eat. And in return, they will pay me and I'll make some money in return also. So you get to have a great event, which is your focus, and I get to sell food, which is my business, and we both win. Me paying you extra makes no sense for me. This thinking shows the inexperience of that particular owner. Without understanding what all the event expenses are, this owner is parroting a commonly voiced opinion that's among new and low volume food vendors. They want the big paycheck, but they're not willing to invest in their own success. So you got to understand events on the kind of scale that would help you to make 5 times your normal daily sales. They got a lot of moving parts and a lot of costs associated with each of those moving parts. For example, the venue will expect some type of rent from the event to be able to use their property. Oh, so there's rent involved in this. The event itself will need to provide some type of a support team, which means they got payroll. The event will most likely need to hire some type of security to help keep the vendor's property safe and secure, as well as to keep order within the crowd, and that's another expense that has to be paid. The event will need a crazy amount of insurance to cover all the attendees, as well as all the other activities going on, animals and games and crafts and all of that kind of stuff. So a crazy amount of insurance they have to pay for. And yes, they will require the vendors to have insurance too, but they got to have insurance as well. The event needs to work out the logistics of power and water and sewage and trash and restrooms. Every one of those things has an associated cost. Some of the costs may be passed on to the vendors, but some of them may not be. And that's why you pay an entry fee to get into an event. They have to make money. They're there to make money. They're giving you the opportunity to make a bunch of money. Now, this harkens back to an episode that I did a few days ago where someone was whining about guests not understanding the food truck business when the guest goes to hire a food truck. Well, it's kind of the same thing. You as a food truck business owner doesn't understand the first iota about how an event works and how they have issues making profit. You see a bunch of money going through the business, just like your employees see a whole bunch of money coming into your cash register, but not all that money is profit. So if you're going to whine about people hiring a food truck to do a 20-person event, where you could just say, no, I'm sorry, that's not enough people, you can't then turn around and whine about an event attempting to make money by charging you to be on their property that they just leased and then covering you with their security, allowing you to use the restrooms and the trash cans, and you want to do it for free? Just like in the other podcast, you have permission to say no. If you don't want to do events, don't do them. But don't expect to change the big events because you don't want to pay. Because there'll always be people out there that are going to pay. There are families of people that travel around and follow those big events. And that's all they do. And they make a bunch of money doing it. They own 4 and 5 and 6 trailers in an event. And you're whining about being given the opportunity to go make some money. Because, oh, they're charging me an entry fee. Just like I said, you have permission to say no, but just remember, you're also saying no to your own bank account. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.